I wanted to show you this video of the Fox reporter in the D.C. protest, and the protesters turned on. So we know that the protesters went to the CNN building in Atlanta and trashed that. There was also a police precinct inside that building, I'm told, which is very interesting. And of course, I was watching it live, and the CNN reporters were reporting on it. I have no idea why the people are angry at the media. I have no idea what's wrong. And they said, we just try to report the truth, which is it's just funny. Of course, those other people who they select to be on the air. Anyway, but here they are, and now here they are confronting Fox News. So it's not partisan, right? So they went after CNN, and now here they are going after Fox News. Let's watch this.
Hey, watch the streets.
Every fucking day! Look at your life like this!
So now so those are people who feel that Fox News is doing propaganda against them, which they are. And that was a black woman saying, "I want you to know what it's like to be a black man every day." And that's what she's screaming at that reporter. And now I'm all for them yelling that stuff at those reporters. I'm not for them actually accosting him, but I get their anger at Fox News and CNN and any mainstream news media. I get it because they're the problem. They're representative of the oligarchs that are oppressing them, and they're doing propaganda to make them look like they don't have legitimate grievances or whatever, or that they're all. So there's more to that, and it gets a little hairy. Nothing actually happens to the guy. He ends up safe. They don't attack them. They're just kind of threatening to attack them, and they never do. But what do you make of that, Chris?
Well, Fox does just what CNN does. It does just what MSNBC does, and that's sell hate. It's Orwell's 2 minutes of hate. That's what they do. So Fox News gets you to hate one demographic. CNN gets you to hate another. MSNBC, quote unquote, the liberal network, gets you to hate a demographic. That's all they do. They sell hate, and they make a lot of money off it. And a lot of people who are being demonized by these networks, whether it's Fox demonizing black people or MSNBC and CNN demonizing white deplorables, it's all the same business, and they're making a lot of money off of it. But what it's done is siloed the country and created ever-widening divides and antagonisms so that people can't talk to each other. And I really blame the corporate media for that. I think it's the greatest sin the corporate media has committed. And, I think, as you know, I come out of the white working class in Maine, lower working class. And they were sold out by the Democrats, by NAFTA, by Bill Clinton and Barack Obama. And they have every right to be pissed off. I don't always... Well, matter of fact, I oftentimes quite strongly disagree with how they express that anger, but that anger is a legitimate anger, and the response of the media entities is to stoke the anger, to stoke the hate, to widen the divide, and that's why Rachel Maddow makes $10 million a year. And when Taibbi, who wrote a good book on this called Hate Inc., he put Sean Hannity on one side of the page and Maddow on the other, and he's not wrong. They're all doing the same thing.
So these people, so that's the same phenomenon when you see Chris Hayes cover the sexual assault allegations against Joe Biden, and his own audience turns on him as he's some kind of traitor. And they start calling him a Russian and things like that. Well, he's actually created that audience. Him and Rachel Maddow and fake tough guy Lawrence O'Donnell, they've done that. They've created the audience to think that way. And then when they somehow accidentally tell the truth about something, it turns on them. So they become a victim of that. They go, oh, shit. And so these are people experiencing the monsters they've created. That's what I would say.
Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, remember, they push Al Franken out because of, I'm not defending this boorish behavior that he did, but it wasn't, Harvey Weinstein behavior, because Nancy Pelosi kept saying we're going to run on the Me Too movement against Trump. And look who's nominated, Biden. but suddenly they'll even throw the Me Too movement out the window. There's nobody they won't betray. No one.
No one. And does that scare you to see that turn on that reporter like that? Does that frighten you? I mean, like I go out and cover stuff, and I wouldn't want that to happen to me.
Well, I've been there. I mean, I've been in crowds. I've been in nasty situations like that. It is frightening, and always. It's never an accident that if you work for TV, the camera people are big, and that I just noticed that there. That was always the case when I worked overseas. So, yeah, but I have very little sympathy. I mean, the whole idea that Fox is a legitimate news entity, I don't have a lot of sympathy for Fox. They've done a lot to destroy not only the media landscape but the democracy. What anemic democracy we once had.
Yeah, I don't have any sympathy for any of the corporate news at all. And in fact, I have nothing but resentment and derision and contempt and for journalism as a profession. Now, there's still lots of good journalism that gets done, but there is a herd mentality that is unbelievably destructive, and they absolutely have no standards. I just got fact-checked by an organization, and I was like, really? You guys? They go, well, we are a fact-checking organization, so. And I'm like, you guys have standards? Why are you pretending that journalism has standards? The reason why I'm popular is because journalism has zero standards, and the fact that it was ubiquitously reported from coast to coast on every news outlet that Trump was a Russian plant, and that there was an evidence-free conspiracy theory that red-baited the president and all their political enemies. And so the fact that there's some kind of journalistic standards in America is just fake. That's not true. It's selective when they feel like it, right?
Yeah, well, I was a mainstream journalist for a long time, and that's what we do. We manipulate facts. And I can take the same facts and spin you a story any way you want. It's factually correct. But that's what we do. We manipulate facts. And if you're a real journalist, you use those facts to try and convey the truth. But if you're a careerist, and most of the people at the Times were careerists, you use those facts to placate the people who have power over you. And I used to say the unwritten motto of the New York Times is do not significantly alienate those on whom we depend for access and money. And if you do significantly alienate those on whom we depend for access and money, you become a management problem, like I did, and you get pushed out.
Well, that's weird because I just saw an interview with Anand Girihadis, and he was saying that that's not the problem. He was saying it's not the advertisers, it's not the ownership, and it's just the habits of mind of individual journalists. That's all. That's what he was saying. Of course, that's ridiculous.
No, I was inside corporate New York Times for 15 years. I know exactly how it works, and there's no rules written on the wall. But if you want to rise within the organization, you're astute enough to figure out what you should say and what you shouldn't. And coming out of the Middle East, you're going to keep your mouth shut about what Israel's doing to Palestine. Nobody who covers the Middle East has any disagreement with my critique of Israeli war crimes. They just think I'm rather stupid for saying it publicly.
Chris Hedges, thank you so much for being our guest. Everybody, his latest book is, let me find, here it is. America, the Farewell Tour. It's a great book. It tells you everything that's happening in all those cities where there's riots happening right now. It's amazing. Thank you. Anything else you want to add before you go?
No, I'm always happy to come on, Jimmy. You do a great show.
I appreciate it. Thank you. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Hey, this is the part where I tell you where our live shows are, but there aren't any. And then I would tell you to go join our premium, but nobody has a fucking job. So why don't you just enjoy the video?